Have you ever seen a creature so huge, so mysterious, and so unbelievably beautiful that you thought it had to be from another planet? Today, we're diving into the world of giants, because you're about to meet the biggest moth on Earth. Stick around, because what this moth can do will shock you, especially the way it protects itself. Trust me, you've never seen a defense mechanism like this. And here's a question before we start. Would you hold the world's largest moth in your hands, or would you run the other way? Tell me in the comments. I'm curious who's brave. Meet the giant, the Atlas moth. The title for the largest moth in the world goes to none other than the Atlas moth. Found in the tropical forests of Southeast Asia, places like Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand, the Atlas moth is so massive that people have mistaken it for a bird flying overhead. Yes, a bird. So how big are we talking? Picture this, an adult Atlas moth has a wingspan that can reach up to 12 inches. That's 30 centimeters, roughly the size of a dinner plate. Its wings are reddish-brown with intricate patterns, almost like a beautifully painted tapestry. Nature did not hold back on this one. If moths had royalty, the Atlas moth would absolutely be the queen. But wait until you hear about its most shocking feature, something that looks straight out of a survival video game. The cobra wing illusion. One of the craziest things about the Atlas moth is its natural defense system. The tips of its wings, and you might want to zoom in for this, look exactly like cobra snake heads. Not kind of, not sort of, but shockingly real. When threatened, the moth will start fluttering its wings, and those cobra-like patterns appear to move. Predators, birds, reptiles, even mammals see what looks like the head of a venomous snake and immediately back off. This is nature's version of, "You don't want this smoke, move along." And honestly, who can blame them? If that blew your mind, just wait, because the Atlas moth has one more shocking secret, and it's the reason its adult life is incredibly short. The moth that doesn't eat? Yes, you heard that correctly. Adult Atlas moths do not eat. At all. Zero. Nothing. They have no functional mouth parts, which means once they emerge from their cocoon, their only real mission is to find a mate, reproduce, and do it all very quickly. Because without eating, the Atlas moth only lives for about 1 to 2 weeks. Imagine being one of the largest insects on the planet, yet your time is incredibly limited. And that's why the caterpillar stage, where they do eat, is so critical. Those chunky green caterpillars munch like tiny machines, storing enough energy to fuel their entire adult life. It's strangely beautiful and a little sad, right? Being huge, spectacular, admired, but living just long enough to continue the species. The caterpillar that prepares for greatness. Before the Atlas moth becomes a winged giant, it starts life as a chubby green caterpillar covered in waxy white spines. These caterpillars can grow up to 4.5 inches long, and trust me, they eat like tiny bodybuilders preparing for a competition. Leaves, gone. More leaves, gone. Your favorite plant? Probably gone too. Their entire purpose during this stage is to store enough nutrients to survive as adults, since they won't get another meal again. When they're ready, they spin a massive silken cocoon. In fact, the silk of the Atlas moth is so thick and durable that in parts of India, people actually use it as a natural material called Fajera silk. And speaking of silk, did you know something even stranger? This cocoon could technically be used as a wallet. I'm not kidding. You'll see why in a second. The cocoon that doubles as a purse. Atlas moth cocoons are so tough that in some rural areas, people actually reuse them as small bags or pouches. No joke. The structure is strong, flexible, and surprisingly durable. It's like nature made a biodegradable mini wallet. Now, before you imagine people walking around with insect cocoons in their pockets, remember, once the moth emerges, the cocoon is empty, clean, and safe to repurpose. Still, that's one eco-friendly fashion accessory you probably won't see on the runway. Now that you know how incredible this creature is, here comes a twist you might not expect. Not even the heaviest, just the largest. Believe it or not, the Atlas moth is the largest moth in terms of wingspan, but not the heaviest. That title goes to the Hercules moth of Australia, another absolute monster of the insect world. Its wingspan can reach up to 10 to 11 inches, slightly smaller than the Atlas moth, but its body is so thick and muscular that it outweighs the Atlas moth dramatically. It's like comparing a basketball player to a weightlifter. One is tall and wide, the other is just built like a tank. Still, in terms of sheer wing size, the Atlas moth remains the undisputed queen. But here's the part that really surprises people. They're rarely seen in the wild. Even though they live in tropical forests, Atlas moths are surprisingly hard to spot. Why? Because they fly mostly at night and spend most of their time resting during the day. Add in their camouflage, those earthy brown and rust colors, and they disappear perfectly into tree bark and leaves. Many people in Southeast Asia go their entire lives without ever seeing one in person, despite sharing the same forests with them. So if you ever see one in the wild, congratulations! You've witnessed something many locals never do. The global sensation. In 2022, an Atlas moth made headlines when one was spotted in Washington state in the US, far away from its natural home. Scientists were shocked. People were amazed, and pictures of the moth went viral overnight. Its enormous wingspan and almost mythical appearance had people asking, is this real or was this photoshopped? Nope, totally real. That's the power of a creature that looks like it belongs in a fantasy movie. So now that you've met the world's biggest moth, what do you think? Beautiful? Terrifying? Magical? Would you dare hold one on your hand, or would you admire it from a distance? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed exploring one of nature's giant wonders, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss more mind-blowing animal facts. And if you want to see more giant creatures or mysterious insects, check out the playlist popping up on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.